We talked Monday about how edge rusher is not necessarily the highest priority for the Minnesota Vikings coming into this offseason. With the return of Daniil, the real deal Hunter, back from his injury, a herniated disc in his neck, plus the second-year development of DJ Wanham. Kenny Willekes will be off of IR. Maybe Jordan Brailford gets something going. And, people freaked out. They're like, well, the pass rush was so bad last year. Understood. We get it. 3-tech, guard, a little bit more pressing, but nah. And then, we can be hypocrites on this channel because it's our channel. If Kwity Paye, the pride of Michigan, somehow, some way makes it to 14, the Vikings do need to be in. Absolutely. And before we get to the no way he falls to 14. So one of our pet peeves is, when people talk in absolutes, like, no way this happened. So the draft is one of the most subjective crapshoots in sports. And this is going to be the most random draft ever. We have no idea what's going to happen because no formal combine. Pro days will be marginal. A bunch of 2020 opt-outs, especially amongst first and second round players. No in-person interviews. So teams are going to spend a high draft pick and millions of dollars on a dude that they potentially never even met. That's wild. Also, you have 5 solid quarterbacks up at the top that could go very quickly. So stuff is going to get weird. Now, does Kwity Paye make it to 14? I think chances are pretty unlikely, but it's a non-zero chance that he does either. So don't speak in absolutes, especially in this draft. So let's talk about the Kwity Paye, the pride of Michigan, today. 6'4", 272, former 3-star recruit coming out of Warwick, Rhode Island. Now, he's a number 1 recruit coming out of Rhode Island, which, small state. Was originally committed to Boston College, flipped over to Michigan. Plus, his upbringing is really inspiring. Was born in a refugee camp in Guinea during the first Liberian Civil War. Family was able to get out of there and get to the U.S. when he was a baby. Fought, scrapped, worked. Still a great character and a great work ethic as well. Ended up taking his talents to Michigan, like we mentioned. Peak season was 2019 as a junior. 37 pressures, 6.5 sacks, 80.9 PFF grade. Only had 2 sacks in 4 games this season before opting out after an injury, but still racked up and stacked up 22 pressures and 2 sacks. 86.3 PFF grade, including an 87.3 pass rush grade, which is 23rd best in college football. Completely destroyed the Gophers this season, by the way. Like, that was ugly. But Minnesota was also down several starters that game, including 400-pound right tackle Daniel Falele, who's going to be a solid mid-round pick. Kwity Paye was 2-time second-team All-Big Ten. And Michigan, well, he hasn't had his formal pro day yet, but they did have an informal pro day last offseason for their players, and Kwity Paye got after it, man. So you look at his times and the percentiles. So 4.57 in the 40, 6.37 3-coners, what everyone freaks out about. It's like, look at this. My goodness, in the 99th percentile for defensive ends, would have been the best of the 2020 class. Absolutely insane. 4.15 short shuttle, also in the 90th percentile. 34-inch vert, 30 reps on the bench. Just an absolute physical freak. And at his formal pro day, like, he's going to light these things up since he is actually going to be training for them. And this might actually benefit that the Vikings possibly getting him to 14 is that there is no official combine. So, teams are going to know because teams aren't dummies. But I think in the general, in the media as well as in the general fandom of the NFL, maybe they'll be downgrading Kwity Paye even after he blows it up at his pro day just because they didn't see it live at the combine. And maybe you will see him still hanging around in the teens for a lot of mock drafts. Pros, so the power. It's ridiculous. Like, some of his reps are legitimately Reggie White-esque, and that is a little bit hyperbolic, but also not really. Speed, agility is also a plus. That 3-cone and 40 are legit, but you see it on his closing speed too, where if he's able to get free, he closes. He does. ABC, always be closing. F you, pay me. And if you could get a 10-yard dash time, which I'm sure we will coming up, it's going to be elite. Length. So you don't have official arm measurements yet, but he's adequate from the eyeball test. Can long arm tackles, get around, and hands. Hands are heavy and they are very active. Like vice grips on tackles, control the hands, control the man, and his instinctual hand usage, phenomenal. Motor. Plays every single snap like it's the Alamo. Character, like we mentioned, he's been through a lot, is a leader, doesn't take anything for granted. Cons, Sort of had to, pick nits on this one, but meh, college production. Only 8.5 sacks in the past 2 seasons. But, of course, would have liked to see more eye-popping numbers, but blah, blah, blah. Daniil Hunter, physical freak with marginal college stats. Same thing with Jason O'Wett from Penn State. I get it. Also, needs more moves. So this is common for college edge rushers where they don't have a full suite of pass rushing moves because they don't need them. In college, you can get by on your physical skills and talents, where in college, speed rush, bull rush, swim, pull rip, chop rip is basically all that you need, and you're going to be good to go there. But Andre Patterson getting his mitts on him, pass rushing with a plan and adding some counters, it will be really good to go. Pro comp. So Brandon Graham, and it's not lazy because it's Michigan, but the leadership, the size, the strength, the solidness against the run, and that's also another pro of his. Absolutely eats up the edge against the run. Plus, add in positional flexibility because he played right and left defensive end almost equally during his time in Ann Arbor. Plus, with his size at 272, but really probably around 280, could kick inside on passing down, similar to how they used Afadio Denebo inside in 2019, as well as early career Everson Griffin when they still had Jared Allen and Brian Robinson starting on the ends. That's where Everson got his start inside. And I love him. I love Kwity Paye. He's our number 1 edge rusher. I would put Azeez Ujulari 2. I'll put Rousseau 3. I put Jalen Phillips 4. Actually, I put both of the Miami guys, about 3A, 3B, somewhere in there. But Kwity Paye would be an amazing addition at 14, even though we went on at length on Monday that edge rusher, but just take it as a BPA selection where you have Daniil, you have Kwity Paye, you have DJ Wanham in year 2, you have a Fadi back probably on a restricted free agent tender, you have Jordan Brailford, you have Kenny Willekes, Kenny Tryhard, Murderers Row. Get after it. Quarterbacks can't sleep because the Minnesota Fighting Vikings, Purple People Eaters, probably on version 7.0. Rushman, mount up. Let's get it. Be your thoughts. Kwity Paye, 14, if he gets there. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work, post something in Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.